Welcome to Unleashed Conversations Insights. We bring you curated themes from my conversations with leaders, highlighting specific moments from their leadership journeys and lessons learned in building world-class companies.
For women to grow into board levels, for women to grow up to be CXOs, the number of women to stay back in workforce, the number of women joining the workforce is very important. There are some interesting organizational level initiatives which are being done to encourage women to come into the workforce. Sarika talks about how Capgemini brings in STEM students from rural India into their workforce. Here are my reflections with her. How do we ensure that whatever we invested into the right talent are getting the right roadmap? And I think I'm talking this talent. Also, we get very enthusiastic women into the workforce today.
Yep.
We get very deep science women into the workforce today. How do we ensure that their pedigree of whatever they have come from, technical management, is fully leveraged and they're given right opportunities? And what is the role of an organization? And what is the role of the rest of the network, peers? How can we create an environment that they all realize their full potential?
On the women's side, Shini, I want to specifically highlight one program, and we're very proud of it at Capgemini. And I'm sure there are programs other organizations have, but I think it's one of A1 programs we are proud of. It's called Sakhi Drashtikon. It is a tongue twister by design. Basically, we went to extreme rural states and rural places in India. Most of them were in down south, actually, to be very honest, where you have good engineering colleges, or let's say you have good colleges. But then the social culture of that place is such that the women get married and they stay in that same village or in nearby. They never come to the city. And hence, they never really scale their career. So what we helped is we identified the first cohort of 500, and now we have had at least 3 cohorts really. We train them not on data entry and some, because they are good technically. It's not that they are not trained. They have gone through the education system and scored brilliantly. But because they are in remote, they don't get those opportunities. So we train them on cyber security, on digital skills through our training academies. And Shini, you won't believe today, those are the ones who are manning the most serious and the most important cyber security solutions of ours. And you know what the other thing is? Because they are getting a career that they want, there is zero attrition. They work from the cities, they grow, they learn. And one of the most heartening things that we see is many of them go back to the colleges where they started and they become the role models for other women to remain in the workforce. Me sitting in an urban India is very different from somebody who's sitting in a rural place. So I would say that programs like this, and I'm sure there are others, need to be encouraged, especially for women talent in technical side. Sometimes people also stereotype that women are more on the art and on that side. I disagree completely. I think women have a very structured way of thinking as well. It's just the training that they get. Going back to just close the question you asked, I think learning and training is going to be the only gospel truth, which is going to be the backbone for us as we grow, as individuals grow, and organizations' responsibility to make sure that you offer all options is going to really decide how well they grow themselves.
Here are my reflections with Pooja. Pooja talks about a need for returnship program to be created for women in specific. She talks about how it's important when women take a break, they don't completely take a break. They have a continuum role, part-time, remote working, consulting way, have a presence on social media, as well as corporates to create a returnship program to ensure that their coming back is well managed. As we go to CXO levels, the demand on us is the outcome. And the demand that would require us to travel, that would require us to network, that you still have to balance certain other things, trade-offs between them. But having that commitments to other things as well, in your experience, where you as a CXO, you have demands or like that, is there new ways of exposing, doing these things? Are there any insights, lessons they can take from your journey of how they could probably still meet those demands and not yet dilute their other commitments?
Sure.
Srinivas, I'll divide the answer into two parts. One is the whole kind of the systemic design challenge, and the second is at a personal level, what can be done. So at a systemic design level, right, the big problem is the missing middle.
Yeah.
On the supply side, we have enough women entering the workforce now. When you look at STEM graduates, almost 44% of STEM graduates are women. But when 2 years, 3 years down into the career, if you look at the number of women holding STEM positions, falls down to 14%. So what we see is the kind of there is enough supply, but once you are into the org, there are challenges at the hiring level, retention, advancement, and then return to work, right? That period when, again, women will drop out to take care of, that is the period when you are having children, your parents need support, your career is, your spouse's career is also taking off, your career is taking off too. So there is almost this decade of time when your relationships, your working relationships, your connections, networks break down.
Correct.
And when you think about senior level positions, wherever you go, whether as a CEO, board, all of these come to people who have credibility and who have trust. Typically, these positions will happen because someone says you're looking for that person is the right person, and I can vouch
she has a
for
track
that
record.
person.
Yeah, correct.
She has a track record, right? When as a founder, you are starting a company, so many things you're doing, whether raising capital, signing a contract, going to a customer, you have no credibility. What goes is all of the relationships you've built through your work that helps you in that process. Now, when you actually move out completely from the workplace, those relationships get completely severed. And then when you are coming back into the workforce to get to a CXO level position, it becomes very hard because there are not enough people out there who can vouch for you to be taking that role. So what becomes critical, and I've been thinking about this issue a little bit, is now what we could possibly do is rethink this a little bit, because women's career trajectories look very different from men's career trajectories. And when that middle decade is over, women are raring to go back into the workforce. They're willing to travel, to network, they have the confidence. It will take a little bit of upskilling, getting into the rhythm again.
Yeah.
But they're raring to go back into the workforce. But our workplaces are not designed to enable that. So I think there is a design thing which we need to be thinking about, that, can we get about, so there is an opportunity there where we can address that through building very strong returnship programs and thinking of women's career trajectory slightly different from men. And what it does is expands the pie. We take advantage of both the genders and expand the pie for the organization, right? Now, at an individual level, what it means is, even when you are deciding to take that break, don't exit the highway completely. Get in the slow lane somehow.
Correct. Work 2 days, half a day, whatever.
Work 2 days, work as a consultant, as a freelancer, so that you maintain some of those relationships, some of those networks, that you continue to be somehow part of those networks. That is one. The second, if you do not, of course, you finish your work, you want to run home to take care of all of the other things. Now, because of technology, it enables you to do it remotely, offline, all of that. So that's the second piece, is if you're not doing this face-to-face networking, being at some of these places, then put your points of view on social media. Build some kind of a profile or persona there, through writing, through supporting different causes, through flexible arrangements, but don't forgotten.
Thank you for tuning into Unleashed Conversations Insights. Stay tuned for more powerful moments and lessons from featured leaders.